This is a little excitement for me. Exciting thing. I've got your maps, and like for instance, this is 804 class. I got Kristen's, and you have Oroville, California. My son just now is driving into Davis, California, later this afternoon to start a job there. So I'm kind of interested in this map. You know, he told me he's been to San Francisco when he was out interviewing. And I've got Emily's map, and you can see they have interesting, these may be reversed. I'm not sure if they do that, but you can see the Golden Gate Bridge here. And you can see over here, my favorite, New Jersey, the Jersey Shore has a lighthouse and has the University of Delaware. This one's kind of a taped on one. Okay, and you can see these on the pages, so I'm not giving any personal information away. The Sierra Nevadas Woods in Oroville. I got Austin, Marissa's. She lives in Washington State, but grew up in Austin. And this is Austin, Texas. And of course, Austin, Texas does not have the Alamo. That's in San Antonio. But I can see on here, it's a little hard to show it on, but you can see the Town Lake and Barton Creek Club. I'm not sure if that's a Wimberley High School. My Target down here, I guess that's Target. The Black Sheep Lodge and the Barred Grill. I'm not sure if that's all one or not. Snow Cones Shack, Torchy's Tacos, Meyer Ranch Warehouse. So this is a town in Southside Austin. And so, you know, just a piece of a town could be so exciting, so different. So that's kind of how that one looks. Now, why I like these are beautiful maps. I don't think there were any that weren't just fascinating to me. But of course, I've seen Nebraska maps a lot, so I like to see other ones from different places. So I got New Jersey, and I got Austin, and I got, of course, Oroville, California, and Golden Gate Bridge. I mean, that's just awesome. You know, I get to go out there and visit my son, so I'll get to go. I saw the Golden Gate Bridge when I was about 12 years old, and I saw my uncle. Went out to visit my uncle. Took a train out there in 1966. And I was a brat, so I didn't really take advantage of it, you know. San Francisco Giants not having a good year, sorry. I'll teach you to be on a dirt bike, and she knows what I'm talking about. Kristen knows. Anyhow, now I've got the Iowa maps. And one of my favorite things is, how is Iowa different from Nebraska? And I just have my own theories about it. I got Red Oak, and I have Pella. And Pella is Pella Windows, if you know Pella Windows. I thought that had to be related. And this is Lindsay and Palmer's. Tulips. See the tulips on there? Just imagine. And here in Red Oak, which I'm not sure where that, oh, that's right down by, almost in Missouri. It's right down there by Shenandoah. And I lived in northern Missouri. I just lived down from Ottumwa. I went to school at Kirksville, which was kind of a dull school when I was there. Apparently, it's much more academically sound now. But you see small towns, and I don't know. My theory is that the Iowans are more focused on the town itself. It's a little tighter organization. That's just my general impression. It's not even a theory. Theories would be something intellectual and studied. But these are two Iowa individuals, Jamie and Lindsay. Okay. Now, I also have, and forgive me, Kavani, if this isn't right, then I'm saying Kavani, and you teach at Lexington, and I'm hoping to have you on here, and we'll do a video. But you're originally from the Philippines, and you have Lexington Senior High School, and you have like pictures of activities with students and you're teaching. Okay. And see, however you do this is great. Your original town was Baguio City. I know I'm saying it wrong. It's in the Philippines. But 10 years in the United States, and there you are teaching science. So that's my hometown, you know. It is now. My hometown's in Missouri, but it's kind of run down. It's full of pawn shops, tattoo parlors, one giant Walmart, and antique stores. So you can see that, you know. Now, obviously, I don't have all of yours, but I have a chunk of, I got everything from Ravenna, Blue Hill, Nebraska, that's Brenda's, and Allison from Ravenna. And I had Allison in other classes. And of course, you see the Cornhusker. It's going to operate around here. Blue Hill, we got the Minden Opera House included in there. Some of them do a Ernie's Drive-In. No longer exists, but I will never forget it. Playing Miss Pac-Man and pinball. I love those games, especially pinball. So see how these maps work is that you can add to them later. There's no rule that says you can't just add to them later. It has grandparents' home. Brenda has her grandparents' home. The Opera House in Minden. It's been there since 1891. Got a joke for you. Got a selfish friend. I always referred to him when I talk to others. Said, he's like an Italian opera. And he said, well, what do you mean that? He's not operatic. I said, me. I like that. Okay. So, and then we have Lincoln, and we have, of course, grandparents Lichtenberg, Norfolk. And I think said they came from, I forgot now, is it Norway? Germany. Okay, I read everything. Now I got to go back and try to remember. But we got Lincoln, Nebraska on here, and a lot of stuff going on here. I see the Lutheran Church. I see you have some people have a little map that show the bigger map showing all the details, and then a small map showing locations in the state. Grandma Almonds, Bing Bang Boom, I guess that's 4th of July. The Veterans Home, the state capitol. I think it's an ugly state capitol. I'm sorry. I'm from Missouri, and we have a capitol exactly like the one in Washington, architecturally beautiful. I'm not saying what goes on in it is very good. And then we got all these places. Omaha, Lincoln's also included. I like these regional ones. It kind of shows how you relate to people. And you know what happens? These things are great because I call them icebreakers. They're actually everything you'd want. By the way, I've got Marcy Fuentes, Marquette, Nebraska, and Katie Doggett's Blair, Nebraska, which is right up there north of Omaha. And we got a big thing on Aurora and Grand Island, and a place called Danish Heritage right here at Kronborg. Okay, it's not Dannenbrog, right? That's a different one. Dannenbrog means the flag of Denmark, I think. The Jacobson Farm, established 1892. Mom was a first grade teacher in Hampton, population 429. Bart's house, some people think I was Bart. Interesting. These are so funny to look at. And then here's the cool stuff about these maps. You can create stories from these maps. You can have kids write about, the day I went to my parents' house or my grandparents' house, and I fell off the horse. Kids love to tell that story. They light up and they say, and it kicked me, or whatever. Or you got to shear a sheep or something, or you saw a wild mountain lion. Those actually are coming out of the plains, and they actually shot one in Kearney about 4 years ago. It actually came into town, was near elementary school. It really bothered me. He shot it. I realized they probably couldn't do anything else, but it was so sad, And they took it and skinned it, and then they saved the skin, then they saved the skeleton for display. So I thought, I like cats, so I say I like cats. So I got 5 of them because my son left 2 more cats with me when he moved to California, and I now have 5 cats, and 1 cat, you can't find it because it's the scariest cat of all time. It's literally invisible. You might see it once a week if you're lucky. The other cat is a totally dominant Maine Coon cat. Beautiful cat, but it's so gigantic it frightens all the other cats and they stay outside. So I have to deal with cat fights all the time at home. One-sided cat fights. Okay, I'm sorry I'm off track, but that's how I am. You start looking up papers and you go loony. But I like this one on it has Marquette, population 230. So you see a lot about, Iowa, it's usually about the one town, but in Nebraska, it's about a series or constellation of little towns, sometimes with a Grand Island and 4 towns around it. Very common here. Now, Blair, Katie's, this is kind of how the maps I make. I like just simple maps. Some of these are quite extremely complicated with arrows going all over. Think of the information you can get from this stuff. I love these maps. I think they offer all kinds of assignments you could get from kids. And imagine if they updated the map. Maybe even put new information on them. You have to monitor these. You don't want people writing naughty words on them or anything. But just imagine if you had a nice, pretty map and everybody had their map. Maybe they could put their, 2nd grade, they could put their face up there and a picture of their family. And they could just augment it. And they just keep putting more stuff on it. So this would be them. It would not just be a picture of them and their family. I've seen people do newspaper articles where they talk about their family and this is my stepfather, this is my dad. And you find out if there's divorce in the family and stuff like that. But with this, you find out all kinds of cool things. And I actually saved these to where I had to throw some away because I got in trouble. I didn't have storage. But, oh yes, this is why I wrote on the back of some of these. I'll mention it when I comment. That Katie had a Latvian grandfather who taught him some Latvian. And that really is interesting. And also the Winnebago reservation nearby. And I noted on here, the Winnebago are trying to keep their language alive because there aren't many speakers of Winnebago left. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if somebody, either with their kid or themselves or somebody, would go to the older Winnebago native speakers and learn their language. It'd be nicer if you were younger and could pick it up. But imagine you speak a language, you might be one of the last 5 people that speak the language. Think how valuable you would be. You would be what we call in culture an artifact. Language is everything. Once a language is gone, all kinds of ways of seeing the world are gone. So I just bring that up because the loss of language is a tragedy. That's why when I talk in my ESL classes, I say we don't want to lose our languages. We don't want our students to give up whether they speak Tagalog or Chinese or, Chinese is not going to disappear, but there are many languages related to Chinese that have disappeared. It doesn't make the world richer to have less conversations in other languages, okay? So I just wanted to talk about these, how excited. I love these things. I always spend a lot of time trying to get these just right so I could print them large enough that I could see them clearly. Some of them, people took a picture and they were a little out of focus. So I spent time trying to get them printed out just right. I know it sounds crazy and it's not like, I think it's a very good use of time. If I have had you in class all year, it helps me know more about this state and other places. And certainly with California, I'm going to ask questions about, from Kristen about, my son's going to be living in Davis. And so that's cool. He's a brain researcher. He actually studies how neurological pathways in this particular place where he's at. He's going to be tracking neurological pathways from the cerebellum to the amygdala. Amygdala is the primitive part of the brain, the emotional part, kind of the flight or fight part. And so he's going to be studying that in Davis. And he's kind of getting a new start out there. Went through kind of a rough time. I'll talk more about him later. But anyhow, I just feel good knowing that Kristen's from out there and I can ask questions. All right. Well, thank you. And I just wanted to say this. I wanted to send this to you because I wanted to show you that these maps are great. And I'm also going to be grading and doing a little commentary on the maps, not quite as much. I mean, you can see how, was it loquacious I am? You don't want to, I thought about doing video for each one of you, but I don't think you want to see me that often. All right. Well, thank you.